Mr. S.N. Sastry, President and Unit Head, Aditya Birla Chemicals for Grasim Industries Limited, to kindly take the chair. Then Dr. Sangeeta Srivastav, Executive Director, Godavari Biorefineries. Mr. Premal Shah, Sales Leader, Asia Pacific and Country Leader, Chemours India. And Mr. Rahul Singh, Vice President, Technology and Engineering, Hygenco. Thank you, Mr. Sastry. Mr. Sastry is here. Now we have to look for Mr. Rahul Singh, Premal Shah. Sangeeta ji is also here. Please take your seat. Mr. Rahul Singh and Mr. Premal Shah. And Raj Sabha, this is the kind of what they call as the division bell. So if the voting is going to take place and all the members of parliament are sort of moving around, so the bell is rung so that they can rush back to the house.
We'll have to give some carrots.
So I'll start by introducing all the panelists. We have Mr. Sridhar Narasimha Sastry, who is currently heading an integrated chlor-alkali complex of 129,000 TPA capacity with value-added chlorine products and 50 megawatt power plant location in Renukut, Uttar Pradesh, India. He has 34 plus years of industrial experience, having delivered service in operations, QMS, QA, projects, technical services, and leadership roles. Postgraduate in science, business management, and global strategy from Harvard Business School, with specific interests in developing leaders, operational excellence, integration of HAC into operations and projects, and business management. You'll have to chair the session because Mr. Purohit has been in and out traveling, and then there is another thing going on petrochemicals at another venue. Then we have Dr. Sangeeta Srivastav. She has been associated with Godavari Chemicals for biofuels with the company for more than 25 years, managing and directing research activities connected with renewable feedstock. Her last position held in the organization was Chemical Business Unit Head. She has a master's degree in science, organic chemistry from Sagar University in India, a master's of philosophy in organic chemistry from Jabalpur University, India, and doctorate in chemistry from Mumbai University. She also holds 19 Indian patents on her name, and many of these patents have also been filed in various foreign jurisdictions. We have Mr. Premal Shah from Chemours, which is a different kind of chemistry company driven by the purpose to create a better world through the power of chemistry. With a world-class portfolio, it provides solutions for industries ranging from automotive, paints, laminates, to advanced electronics, construction, energy, and telecommunications, helping to make a world that is more colorful, capable, and cleaner. Mr. Shah, in June 2019, was named country leader of Chemours India and also became a member of extended leadership team for thermal and specialized solutions. He completed his education in chemical engineering from Mumbai University and postgraduate diploma in business administration from Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning. And our fourth panelist is Mr. Rahul Singh, who's currently spearheading the development and implementation of commercially viable green hydrogen technology as head of techno-commercial function in Hygenco. His role involves strategically engineering standard green hydrogen technology for specific industry segment at lowest overall cost of ownership. He's Vice President Techno-Commercial since 2020, and Hygenco is a leading developer in scaled-up commercially attractive green hydrogen and derivatives. And his key results areas are techno-commercial study of complete hydrogen value chain, generation to application for Hygenco, industrial customers, and seamless integration of green hydrogen into existing applications. So it's a very interesting, you have the supplier from hydrogen and you have all the users. So I put the panel in the hands of Mr. Sastry, please.
So thank you very much, Dr. Mishra, panelists and the industry experts, stalwarts, and very rich experienced people, more than 40 to 50 years in the industry. Once again, good morning, everybody. On sustainability, when we talk about our ability to sustain, our abilities are, what are our capabilities, what are our capacities, what are our competencies to sustain ourselves today and also leave a legacy of better life, as the chief guest was talking about, and other panelists in the morning were talking about, what we leave to our people, not just whatever is there today, but a better environment, better place to them. According to OECD estimate of 2018, by 2050, our world GDP has to be doubled. If not to better, at least to maintain the current level of living standards for the developed countries and a clear enhancement to the developing countries. If double GDP has to happen, and how much of economic growth is will have to happen? That will have to happen because we are sure that we will survive. The alleviation of poverty and bringing certain people above. So if we have to use the current level of energy resources required, what will happen in 2050 unless we transition to low carbon energy resources? Thankfully, the journey has begun. The journey has begun well. We have now, as one of the speakers was talking about, they are cheaper now, they are being used, or we start using them as they become cheaper. So somewhere something has to begin. It's about a reversible process. I come from a place where, some of you may be aware of, that region is known as Singrauli area in India, which is the power hub. Within 40-50 kilometers range, we have 25,000 megawatt power plants. You can just imagine the amount of coal being handled. And 3 years back, I was the lowest cost caustic manufacturer in India because I was sitting at the coal bed. Today, I am not. My coal prices have gone triple. My power bill has gone double. Now the plants which have a mix of solar power and grid power are cheaper than my power. Though I am sitting at the coal bed with just 30 kilometers away from the coal belt. So the scenarios are definitely changing. Can we completely transfer it to the solar, wind or renewable energy? It's still a journey to move forward. Can we stop the growth? We cannot. A big no. We have to survive. We have to alleviate the poverty. Can we stop the progress in the name of environment? No. A big no again. Can we neglect environment in the name of development? Yes. Again, there is a big no. So there has to be a chemistry, there has to be a marriage of this. And with that, so what is left to us is an option. Is there any option? No option. We have to grow, no way, we cannot avoid it. But the choice for us before is green growth. Any growth is linked to the energy that is available to us, majorly. So when you're talking about that energy, which comes from low carbon energy, and when there are options available, and today's topic for this sustainability conclave, the technologies and solutions available for the energy, and through the energy of low carbon and growth, a green growth, these two technologies and solution available to the industry, and there is a clear demonstration today. Today we have three eminent speakers: biodiesel, an integrated framework for sustainability by Chemours, as well as green hydrogen generation from hydrogenic. Before we start this session, I just wanted to say a few words about the industry I come from. I represent Aditya Birla Group. In 2012, we started our official journey on sustainability. By 2017, we decided that all our landlocked sites in chloralkali industry will be zero liquid discharge plants. So the decision today, in 2022, we have stopped sending 5,000 tons of salt to the river bodies. Even in the limitation of 2,100 TDS, we stopped 5,000 tons of salt being discharged to the rivers. 500 million kWh of power reduced from generation 2 to generation 6 of electrolyzers, and 2,000 tons of air emission reduced from 35 milligrams of HCl limit. Today we are at the 5 milligram level. And I heard that the CPCB is working on to reduce these limits from 35 to less than 5. With these few words, I would start the panel selection with Ms. Sangeeta Srivatsava. She is representing Godavari Biorefineries. Madam, thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
So good morning once again. Good morning, everyone. This is not working. It's fine. Yeah, so I think this first slide of mine is like what depicts what is sustainability for us. You can see the sun and then sugarcane, and then we have a farmer, which is a happy farmer, who is supplying us sugarcane, and then we convert into various products. Energy is one of them. And now, just wanted to say that yesterday we heard a lot of things. Everybody talked about various points. Oh, is this? So I just come to the next slide. Yeah. So what I thought after listening to everybody yesterday, that do I have something left to talk about? Because we heard about sustainability, circularity, then we heard about green chemicals, net zero, ESG, sustainability will be rewarded by the customers, by everybody, and safeguard our future. But then a thought came is we have no option but to sustainable, because we do not have another planet to jump on. We have to stay here, and we really have to do it. All of us here have started this journey. We are doing our bit, and I really compliment ICC to bring out this a very focused kind of conclave where everybody is only talking about sustainability in various ways. Okay, everybody had a little bit of doubts how it's going to be. How are we going to be reducing this 1.5 or 2 degree target? Yes, it looks difficult, but once we start our journey, definitely there is a way to reach there. And that's what is the thought process which is happening. And with responsible care in its panel, because ICC has started this long back, and the chemical industry being part of the growth of the country, we have a long or a very big responsibility to go through this the sustainability journey. So I just, which side is that? Okay. So when we talk about only India, I think it's again all repetition, which with the permission of chair, I'll be repeating few things because there's nothing else which I can talk about other than what is spoken yesterday. It's for India, we have a little bit of different challenges on sustainability. Is our net zero commitment is by 2070 with many other countries. But we are dependent on our feedstock and energy to the world. We do not have enough feedstocks and energy available with us. This is another challenge which we need to look at. And farmer income. So when you look at 50% of Indian population, which is engage in agriculture, which is the data which is available for people to verify. And now this gives another challenge for making us more sustainable because we need to work in farms. Now the sustainability journey begins at the farms because if we do not produce sustainable feedstock, which is agriculture feedstock, then at the end we are not getting net carbon or carbon zero or ESG goals, because when we are comparing the yields of biomass or maybe the sugarcane, for example, we are far behind the world standards. So we have a lot of things to do at each stage because this is like a big task to be completed where each of us will contribute in some way. The same thing is that agriculture, if we don't work on, we will not have enough or the net carbon or carbon zero standards which we want to follow. So this is what like specific to our Indian sustainability goal. Then we talk about, again, why do we do this transition? Yes, for market, first pull is market. Because yesterday we were talking about the money. Yes, the money is what? If my customer is not there, is not existing, and he's not going to be recognizing what we are providing, we'll not be able to kind of achieve that goal. So the market becomes, for according to me, is very important when we go to sustainable journey. Definitely it is our personal agenda as well as for the chemical industry. We are responsible, we are doing it responsibly where we take care of safety and other things, but sustainability comes in when the customer is also engaged in what we do, right? So then how our investors are looking at and what are they expecting out of us? So there is a growing market opportunities for green growth. So investors look at whether you have green products or you're doing a green, green chemistry. Then we are also safeguarding our safeguarding and managing risk. Continuing turnover for the portfolio. The investors are looking at how do I turn my portfolio very quickly and how do we decrease emission levels. Remaining agile enough to adopt decision making is like how do we kind of change our decision quickly based on the protocols given and the standards provided by various authorities, and they are monitored. So companies that take the steps today are going to remain in the growth journey for longer time. So this is the time, friends, we need to be kind of working towards being responsible and giving response to the sustainable journey. Yeah? The chemical industry, again, I think the speaker, the panel before spoke about the industry where we contribute to the nation. So our contribution to the growth of nation is higher. We all are kind of participating in this growth, and especially in the specialty chemical. If you look at the chemical industry, specialty chemical contribute to more than 22% of total chemical industry. Now, if you just say that innovation, if you talk about innovations happening in the chemical industry, we develop new materials, new process, new technologies. All of this require, I think, a very, very innovative approach to make it sustainable. I think Mr. Dev mentioned about how do you work on atom economy, because whenever you're making a product, we must make sure that nothing goes into the environment rather than treating it after it goes into the environment. So we have a lot to do, and it's a kind of opportunity for us. And it consumes sort of sustainable, it's fossil fuels. We consume a lot of fossil fuel. So how do we kind of transit to the various other feedstocks? The industry increasingly shifting away from the fossil, but definitely it is going to be work by our scientists and the industries to take it forward. Now, when we talk about the chemical industry and the specialty chemicals, I would only touch upon the bio-based chemicals because that's the kind of a company we work on. My company is Godavari Biorefinery, and we're working on biochemicals, so my focus is on that. In Indian chemical industry is standing at 178 billion. That's the data old, and we've grown faster than what was predicted. And biochemical all over the world is almost US $73 billion. That was 22 data. Now this data is only for the reference purpose. What I wanted to mention is we are growing as chemical industry, and biochemical has a part of that growth story. We're growing as 10 to 12%, which actually gives us a lot of opportunities to do innovation, to be part of this growth story. Now, there are various subsidies, incentives, which is being talked about for biochemicals. As a company, we are working from the beginning of its inception. Like 1939, the company started, but there was no other way. We were doing only the biochemicals. There was no word like sustainable or green chemical during those days, but that's the way we started our journey. So for us, now we are trying to learn how do we account our sustainability? How do we score ourselves, right? So our kind of standard or the baseline will become difficult for us to maybe kind of surpassing those numbers for net zero targets, right? So now I think even the government is working on various forums on talking about how do they kind of give some incentives. I think the biofuel program of Government of India is kind of a very big example where we work for energy security, and we are almost at we finished the target of 10% blending, and it's going to be 20% blending also be soon completed. But with this, what are we doing? We have saved a lot of CO2. Now, this is one example of how do we make ourselves more sustainable. For Godavari, we only participate at 1 or 2% of biofuel total consumption. Now, this only gives us like, okay, whatever small you are contributing to the journey of sustainability, because the green energy and green fuel is definitely required. So now bio-based consumption, product consumption is also increasing, but not so much in India. We work with various companies all over the world where they ask us how many carbon in your product is coming from green. So now this is kind of, even today, we find it difficult to even find out in India who can do the testing. Now, there are various opportunities. We send our sample to other countries for kind of finding the carbon, green carbon in that. So we do C14 dating. So there are a lot of opportunity in India for bio industry, and which can also talk about, is it working? Yeah, okay. So which can also talk about how much like green carbon incoming, and then you get, because these are the numbers which will be important as we go along. Yeah? Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so basically then evolution of green chemistry or maybe a greener product has to be kind of a contributor to the sustainable business development goals. So what are the drivers for bio-based products? So to me, what I feel is the growing demand for natural or bio-based in all segments of chemical industry or all segment of industry. Look at automotive, coatings, personal care, cosmetics. Everywhere people are looking at greener products because many companies have already announced their carbon neutral goals where they have to bring in carbon from the recycle or bio. So apart from the energy, there is a big kind of growth driver available for biomass or bio-based products, which will be kind of available for our scientific community to do a lot of various innovative processes and the chemistries both, because we need to optimize the atom economy and the energy economy for being sustainable. And then comes to like, a lot of consumers are aware. Today, when we talk to many companies or many brands, they are actually advertising in their bottle, in the cosmetic, that so much carbon is coming from the green raw material. So this is kind of awareness of the consumer, which is also pushing us to be more sustainable, if we can say that. And then how do we go for sustainable sourcing? We spoke about this yesterday a lot, because then we talk about scope 1, 2, and 3. From last, I think, 2 or 3 years, all of us are talking these terminologies, scope 1, 2, and 3. And when our customer sends a kind of a form to be filled, then we realize, okay, we need to really work on this. So when I see it, sustainability, it comes through the market pull, and rather than push from our end as a feedstock supplier.
We're left with 2 minutes time, Sangeeta.
Yeah, sure, I'm done. Yeah. So then also the bio-based is being pushed by government initiative. This biofuel is one of the example. And this also gives us a kind of opportunity for industry or the technology supplier to grow various new chemistry. I'll just skip few of them. And this slide is only what is happening, because we require for each product, the biochemical or chemical, we should look at single window clearance, because a lot of activities are being done by the government, but a lot needs to be done. So I'm just repeating here. And there is another issue today is how do we measure our greenness? The chemical company, the greenness calculation still is not straightforward. A lot of different calculations are coming in. I think ICC being a champion of initiatives, we must include in our responsible care how we educate our industry to bring in the greenness, and how do we kind of do those calculations, because somebody or somewhere is sitting and doing it in European countries, and we probably will just follow it. So let's be a little bit more innovative and bring in our carbon into the calculations. So many ESG criteria have been also impacted, they impact the cash flow of the companies, and then we should be very careful when we are going ahead. So sustainability effort can be the tailwind for the chemical industry. It's like increased customer willingness to pay. Now it is coming up. A few years back, it was not. There is sourcing kind of advantage, because forum like EcoVadis and all, they help you to connect with various customers. Now, what we need to also talk about innovation beyond regulations. So we don't do this kind of sustainable product innovation because it is required by regulatory, but it is required for the environment, which is very critical and important. And ESG aligning business with the business code is also being talked about yesterday, and we really need to keep that in mind once again. What we feel is co-creation. Today, when we're talking about bio-based or ESG or sustainable, I think co-creating with the customer or end user is very important. Unless we have the end user customer as partner for creating new molecule, it becomes very difficult and challenging. And this adopting innovation impact matrix, it includes new concepts such as value of society and the environment, which I think society being at the center and the environment is around is very critical for us. Now, just few slides. I can skip also. This is about my company. What we do is we've been always working on biomass-based products from the beginning. So we also innovate in a way that we can generate more of kind of biomass from the same amount of land, because that's very important to generate larger biomass. We also create more value from each ton of biomass. That is our aim. We crush sugarcane, we manufacture sugar, ethanol, power, and also various chemicals. We also work on energy savings so that we have less energy. Our energy for sugar plant is almost 100% biomass based, and we also export it to the grid. And that's, yeah. So for net zero, we are working on power of integration, green chemistry, innovative approach, sustainability at work. And we are integrated biorefinery, which is like we connect to 22,000 farmers. So this is like we are a smaller company, but our reach to the local and rural area is too much for us. So we actually have to work with those farmers and their farmer land. And India, you know that anyway, like some farmers have even 1 acre of land. So we really work hard with them. So when we started our sugar factory in 71 in Sameerwadi area, The first thing was we started with the Agriculture Research Institute,
You have to
I'm
summarize
done.
now.
I'm done. Yeah. So we also make biofertilizer. So this is fine. And just to add on, you need many certifications: bio-preferred, EcoVadis, Bonsucro. Thank you. So just to conclude, I would like to say the economic development agenda will continue to revolve around sustainability for next many years. To this end, the chemical industry's role in creating a sustainable future will be pivotal, given its deep and extensive imprint on almost every part of modern life. Thus, companies will have to collaborate, reevaluate, and potentially reposition themselves to be more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sangeeta. Thanks for bringing out the imperatives for the industry for being sustainable and how the biodiesel can be more renewable. Connecting to 20,000 farmers is something very useful, where India is an agrarian country with 50% population still dependent on that. Thank you very much. Now I request Mr. Premal Shah to speak about the Chemours' sustainability approach and their framework. And request you to stick to the timeline, sir.
Sure. So good afternoon, my fellow panelists, as well as the participants from the chemical industries. I would like to go through the agenda in next 15 minutes or so, which is the time we've been given. I would talk slightly brief introduction about our company, Chemours, overview of the products that enables the sustainability, as well as we would talk one slide, I would say, from the interest of time, our journey about the responsible commitment, what we have done, and how our journey and the progress in the past years. So if I talk about a company, Chemours is based in the Wilmington, Delaware in the United States. In India, we have an office in Mumbai as well as in Gurgaon. We say we are the foundations of our companies is our 5 values, which talks about refreshing simplicity. What we say is we want to make the things simple, we want to do the things in a simple way, and also remove the complexity from the processes and the chemistry, because if you keep the things simple and base, it earns much more values. We want to empower and encourage our employees throughout the organizations to make sure that they make a decision at the right time and the right level with the mind, culture and the mindset of entrepreneurship, but in a collective way. Obsessions, I think we talked a lot today morning, and even I understood from my colleague even yesterday about safety. I think we are a part of all DuPont companies and been done as a new company starting from 2015, and we are proud of our culture of safety obsessions. We want to drive that along with making sure that there would be no compromise on the integrity. For safety obsessions as well as unshakable integrity, we have a non-tolerance, or we say zero violations as far as the target and the expectations from the employees is concerned. While we do all this, we want to make sure that our customer is at the center of all the decisions, all the processes, what we develop to make sure that we provide them a best solutions in the industry. If I talk about 4 of our businesses, we are the leader as far as manufacturing of our performance chemicals is concerned. We are the world leader on manufacturing of the titanium dioxide. We are the world leader of manufacturing sustainable solutions or thermal solutions as well as specialized solutions. We are the world leader in the advanced performance chemicals, as well as we are the world leader in solid sodium cyanide productions in Americas. We have a large presence across the globe. We are present in 28 countries, offices in 28 countries, 26 different manufacturing plants, 6 standalone R&D centers or technical centers, as well as 4 joint ventures. This provides us the global reach to make sure that we connect with our customers as well as the suppliers and stakeholders to bring our sustainable products and solutions to them. Now, this is a brief introduction of our company. If I talk about our vision and purpose, we want to act with the courage and agility to drive the meaningful change to the community. And together we want to create a better world through the power of chemistry. What we say in the Chemours is known as a courageous chemistry. We want to make sure that we use the chemistry to make the sustainable change or meaningful change in the industry. We talk a lot, I think, in the morning and even yesterday's sessions about the opportunities which are there in front of us, not only in India, but to the global, all the countries across the globe. And it also poses challenges on how we make sure that we achieve the growth, but in a sustainable way. And if we talk about it, we are classifying this opportunity into 4 mega trends known as decarbonization and electrifications, increased connectivity and data need. I think India is a best example about the connectivity and how we are using the IT for each and every stage. Growing middle class and urbanizations is happening across the globe, which also brings lots of opportunity as well as challenges. And I think ICC is talking about, we have everyone talking about climate impact this opportunity and growth brings, and how we are going to do that through a circular economy. The good news is we are manufacturing the chemistry which address these global mega trends. If I just give some example about decarbonization and electrifications, there are new energy solutions which is required, and under a thermal specialized solutions, we have a chemistry which can help to do a thermal management as well as provide a solution to keep our world cooler and greener through the enables of the membranes through the green hydrogen. We also have a fluoropolymers, which is a key for all the renewables things, being a wind mine or about a solar power. If we talk about increased data and connectivity, as we know, data centers is a good growth, but that also requires cooling as well to make sure that it's been used in an efficient way. And for the 5G and IoT, fluoropolymers is one of the key products for the industry. When we talk about growing middle class and urbanization, it brings lots of challenges on the infrastructures and the resources what we are using. So how we make sure that we use these resources in a most efficient way to bring out the best out of it and reach to the maximum populations or the people in the world. And we do have some example which I would be talking in next couple of slides around that. And then also about climate impact, right? We want to make sure that the products what we manufacture or the resources which we use has a minimum impact on the climate, and at the same point of time, how we are working on a circular economy. So we basically divide these things from our company point of view into 3 things, which we know as a green growth solutions. One, keeping our world cooler. So as I said, as the middle class is growing, urbanization is happening, data connectivity is happening, we need to make sure that we keep the environmental cool, to make sure that we have solutions to protect the food chain, things we have enabled the solutions to make sure that we have a much better climate for the offices and school to bring out the best of the people to increase the productivity. We have a very recent example because of the pandemic. We come out with the vaccinations, which requires minus 70 degree kind of a storage place, and we are happy to be one of the partners to participate and provide solutions for the medical enhancement. And with the range of Option products, we have the lowest global potential products which can put a less environmental impact. Then we talk about fueling the zero emissions. When we talk about greenhouse emissions, gases and all that, it requires to make sure we use the power, green solutions, and the renewable energies to grow these things. And under our Type O products, which is basically a titanium dioxide, which helps or used as a coating for the solar panel as well as wind mines. And we also have our Nephron membranes, which has been a heart of the fuel cells or green hydrogen economy. And I will be talking slightly more about it in the next slides, which talks about how we help to power vehicles and help to have a green mobilities along with the zero emissions. Last but not least, we talk about circular economy. So we are working under our Type O team with the cross-value chain research institutes as well as the partners to make sure that we develop a scalable plastic recycling process that not only recovers the CO2 but also polymers that can be used in a high quality applications. So as I was talking about hydrogen cells or the green hydrogen, we are one of the largest manufacturers of the ion exchange membranes. And as you can see, when we talk about water electrolyzations or the fuel cell, membrane is the heart of that processes, because if you have a membranes, you need to convert the green hydrogen into a storage in that as electrifications, and then make sure that when it's been used as a fuel into the mobility, it can be provide the solutions to that. And I was talking to Mr. Sastry. He's been knowing this Nephron chemistry, I think, from 1979, which is so good to know because this Nephron membrane is not new. It's been in the industry for many years. We are upgrading it and we are finding out a new ways to utilize that to make sure that we work and contribute towards the green hydrogen dreams of the country as well as support the global world for the sustainable growth. So this is what about, I would say, slightly about our products. And okay, I think this is one slide which gives some good example of how all our products enables the everyday life of us. If you talk about Typure, which is there on the right-hand side, it talks about the coatings, right? Titanium dioxide is a heart of the pigment, and it helps to have the durability and long life so that you don't need to do the painting again and again, or the plastic's life can be enhanced. Opacity is one of the key factors on that. When we talk about Teflon on the top two things, it talks about 5G, IoT connectivity. It talks about solar panels, which has been coated with the Teflon things. We also have a Teflon coatings, which can go during the hydrogen sales or things into the hydrogen economy. Then I already talked about Nephron membranes, which has been a core of our hydrogen economy, either through the fuel cells or from the water electrolyzers things, and Option, which is our lowest global warming potential products, which goes into the refrigerant industries, air conditioning you talk about commercial refrigeration, cold storage, you talk about mobility. All these places we are working with the industry to move from a high global warming potential products to the lowest possible global warming potential. So I'm just trying to give a sense of it when we talk about chemistry, how it helps and enables our day-to-day life. And we talk about there are the challenges and how we can do a sustainable growth. I think there are many companies, not only us, are working on it, and they have the products. They are spending lots of resources and working with the other stakeholders and the partners to make this much faster and more reliable dreams in a best competitive way. So this is talk about our products and portfolio, and we as a company also has our own corporate responsible commitments. We are the company in 2019, we have evolved our strategies around the CRCs and methodology, and we have also get it certified by the third party by the end of 2019. The unique aspect of this methodology is that you can substantiate the gains or the benefits you are making from these contributions towards the UN SDG target. We evaluate our products applications combinations against the 169 targets, which sits across the 17 UN SDG goals. We are also evaluating our existing portfolio, as well as we are embedding in our new and future products portfolio to make sure we pass through this journey. And it's been very transparently said with the organizations across or to our customers and the stakeholders. It is available on our website, so you can go there and you can check our methodology. At the same time, every year we publish our CRC reports at the end of the calendar year. So it's very transparent one. I just take maybe a last minute to give some idea about our journey of this growth. So we have divided these targets into basically 3 pillars, what we say, inspired people, shared planet, and evolved portfolio. So all these goals has been classified in or to what 169 things into these 70 pillars, and then that has been further divided into these 3 pillars for us. If you see on 2021 progress, we are doing extremely good progress almost on everything, barring couple of things, which is behind the target from our internal point of view. As performance management company, we are also setting a very clear target for all these portfolios and the processes which we have developed and how we are going to achieve this target by 2030. So this is gives a very clear idea about our progresses, and we are not only talking about our products or the chemistry which helps for the sustainable growth, but we are also as a company.
With 2 minutes.
Okay, I think this is my last slide. But also our company are taking these things very, very seriously, and we are also tracking all our journey of the growth against this target. And I'm happy to share, as I said, that there are only a couple of areas where we are behind the schedules, and we are working to make sure we come on track on this part. I think I just deleted a couple of slides, but this is what also, sorry, I think this is the last slide of corporate responsibility commitments or highlights. I don't want to get into all the details. It's a busy slides, but if I just talk about it, earlier we were saying that we would have an intensive target about GHG GOA reduction, but we then further redefine and make it a specific target of 60% reductions by 2030. We are also working to advance our net zero aspirations by 2050 for our company. And then there are a few other milestones which we want to do from the diversity, inclusions as a part of our commitments. And I am also happy to share that, as you can see some of the logo of Great Place to Work, even Chemours India has been given a certification of Great Place to Work this year. So with this, I think I would conclude my presentations and look forward for questions or something either during the sessions or during the breaks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Premal Shah. I must congratulate you for being within the time. Great. So 3 things that Chemours was doing were more, keeping things cooler, advancing through plastic circularity, and fueling zero emissions, coupled with everyday life chemistry. And in fact, I was just talking to him, I was the first customer of its Nafion 954 membrane in India, with the first commercial membrane plant. Thank you, Mr. Premal Shah, once again. Now I request Mr. Rahul Singh, please enlighten us with your hydrogen, green hydrogen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever we talk about sustainability and technologies that are sustainable and competitive, one thing that comes to everyone's mind will be renewable power, right? I'm sure everyone in this room is aware of the renewable story that has unfolded in the last 10 years in this country. And what if I tell you that there is a similar story unfolding now, and which is equally sustainable, which is cost competitive, and that is something which matters to all of you. Yes, I'm talking about green hydrogen. So green hydrogen story is actually unfolding right there in front of us. And I'm sure by the end of this presentation, you will see that the story is actually not unfolding, but rather green hydrogen has arrived. And because 80% of what goes into making green hydrogen is the same renewable energy. Okay, so that's what the presentation is all about. Let me quickly run through an animation to tell everybody what exactly we do as Hygenco, who we are. Okay. Can you just play the video?
Are you looking to reduce carbon footprint of your manufacturing operations? What if such solutions increase your profits and yield, but are also safe and reliable? Meet green hydrogen, an affordable, safe, and reliable alternative to gray hydrogen. Hygenco is a global pioneer in deploying green hydrogen solutions, combining renewable energy with electrolysis to deliver low-cost, zero-emission hydrogen and oxygen. How do we do that? Our teams customize and engineer each Hygenco plant to your specific gas demand patterns and specifications. Proprietary AI-based energy management system address the intermittency in renewable energy, resulting in stable and lowest life cycle cost of hydrogen. Our zero-incident policy, guided by the Hygenco Industrial Quality Management Systems, ensures safe and reliable operations. Hygenco's green hydrogen solutions can help fulfill green aspirations of India's chemical industry. So, how can you adopt green hydrogen? Connect with us. We do complete engineering, incur all CAPEX, and manage all operations during lifetime. You only pay per molecule delivered. Our solutions are perfect for a diverse array of chemical industries. Hygenco, making green hydrogen solutions affordable, safe, and scalable.
Excellent. Thank you. So how do we do that? Okay, so basically Hygenco started 2 years back, and we are a very close-knit team of 40 plus experts who are actually equally good in renewable as well as gases. And that is what actually is our expertise. So we bring in the renewable and the gas expertise to deliver cost-competitive green hydrogen to our customers. And if you see, what is the core of our technology? So what exactly Hygenco offers as its proprietary technology? So we are running our plants in off-grid mode, basically. So we're not connected to the grid. So we are just on renewable power, which is a fluctuating load. And that has to operate a plant which requires continuous stable power. So in between sits a system called the energy management and control system. That is the proprietary of Hygenco. Okay? And obviously to do all of this is very, very capital intensive. We need a lot of funds. And thankfully we are well funded by the NEEP fund, which is SBI CAP fund. We have been in news of late for really good reasons. One is really the funding story. And the other thing is the first green hydrogen commercial contract anywhere in the country, definitely, and in Asia. When I say a commercially competitive green hydrogen, I again stress on the fact that we are not running demonstration projects. We are not talking about pilot plants. We are there. We are offering cost-competitive green hydrogen. Okay, and I'm sure you will hear this again and again in this presentation. Okay. Okay, so what we have done is, just for the sake of this presentation, though hydrogen has got enormous applications, but we are just focusing on the hydrogenation application for hydrogen, which is what the chemical industry does. And what we are excluding here is the refinery and the fertilizer part, because that's something which is like a different scale of hydrogen use. So we are not touching upon that, okay? I don't need to go into what is hydrogenation, but there is a very important fact here, and that is something what we have learned in the market, that the cost of hydrogen can be as big as 40% of the cost of a chemical reaction, which involves hydrogenation just as a step process. That is what we have observed. So this is something which is very, very important for the chemical industry users. From where do the industry get its hydrogen currently? We'll see that in more detail in the next slide. But it's mostly like chloralkali off-gases and methanol cracker. And it's a misnomer, actually. Chloralkali off-gas, nothing is off-gas, nothing is a waste. Everything has a value. But somehow, people have come to believe that it's getting generated as a waste. Okay? And the most important aspect of the hydrogenation application for the chemical industry is the batch nature of the process. The process is a batch process, right? And that is where I think our solution sits very, very well. So this is the overall hydrogen supply chain scenario in the country today. Almost 210 million odd cubic meters of hydrogen is getting consumed in the industry every year. And as I said, there are three major sources. So there are two actually. One is the external source, which is coming in cylinders from the chloralkali plants. And the other two sources are on-site generation. So a lot of the customers who are bulk users of hydrogen, they have got their own on-site generation. And most of the generation, actually 90% of that, comes from methanol crackers. Methanol, again, has its own complicated supply chain, which I'm sure the users must be aware of. And SMR. SMR is steam methane reforming. So either you take in liquefied natural gas, or you take just piped natural gas, reform it, and produce your hydrogen. What's interesting there is, when you talk about sustainability, all of these steps actually have an inherent carbon emission. And that is what we are showing there. Right from cradle to grave carbon emission of a methanol cracker, if you see, you will be emitting around 47 kgs of CO2 for every kg of hydrogen you produce and you consume. Okay? As against this, if you look at what we are offering, so we actually fit into all of those slots. Okay? And our solution is zero emitting solution as far as CO2 is concerned. What we are emitting is oxygen. And that is highly pure oxygen, which has got a merchant value that can even be sold in the market. And that also further adds to the attraction of the whole commercial proposition of green hydrogen. Okay, so what we have seen is when we go to our customers in the market, our sales team, the overall hydrogen supply chain, if you see, every customer has got two options. One is the external source, so either they get it in cylinders, and the other option is to produce on-site. The cylinder options work well if your daily consumption of hydrogen is close to 5,000 cubic meters per day. More than that, it becomes slightly unmanageable in terms of the logistics, and then people shift to the on-site generation. Okay? When you look at what Hygenco does, we are good at anything beyond 1,500 cubic meters per hour. So if your consumption is 1,500 nm³ per hour or more, and there is no upper limit to that more, we are good to actually serve you. Next comes the cost of hydrogen. If it is external supply, if you are getting it from the chloroalkali plants, the cost elasticity with respect to changes in energy price is pretty low there. It doesn't respond so fast. And I have not understood that till now, actually. Why does it happen? Because hydrogen has got its own calorific value, right? So it should be actually chasing the curve of the natural gas curve, right? But that is not happening. Maybe it will start happening once government allows pumping hydrogen into the national gas grid. Then maybe you will not get your hydrogen, which now is labeled as waste hydrogen anymore. Whereas if you talk about on-site generation, it is very much like linked to the cost of feed, which is natural gas. Okay. The other important aspect is your capacity utilization. Remember the word batch process. So most of these processes are batch process, and when you set up a plant, your capacity utilization is actually low, okay, which is not the case for us. I'll tell you the reason why in a short while. Scalability, both the solutions are not scalable, I mean on the lower side as well as on the higher side. You cannot just infinitely scale it down or scale it up because there is a turn-down ratio for any on-site plant. Similarly, there is cylinders obviously you can scale down, but when it comes to scaling up, you cannot indefinitely scale it up, okay? When you look at the solution being offered by Hygenco, we are actually distinctly competitive in all of these aspects. As I said, more than 1,500 nm³ per hour, we are there. We are absolutely scalable. Our costs are fixed. So we offer a fixed price contract for 20 years, as it happens for renewable energy. I can't imagine what can be better than this when a producer understands that his cost of input is fixed for next 20 years, okay? And it is competitive to start with, first of all. That's very important point. We are not saying that it is higher and then the levelized cost maybe in 20 years, your cost of ownership comes down. That's not the case. Okay, so here is a comparison of the various technologies as far as the supply chain is concerned. How does that stack up against what we are offering? So the first word is batch process, right? So as I said, we are slightly off if you compare us with chloroalkali solution, because obviously you are getting in cylinders, so they are in packaged form, and you have the option of turning on and turning off the cylinder. But the other two solutions, which is methanol cracker or steam methane reformer, they are not at all suitable for batch process. But customers don't have a choice, the users don't have a choice, so they are going for this solution. And there are certain, I would say, byproduct of this implementation. So if you set up an on-site plant, definitely you are also going to invest in a lot of infrastructure to sell hydrogen outside. That's very important. And so the chemical manufacturers, most of them have ended up being manufacturers of hydrogen also. Cost of ownership, we are definitely much better. Even today, I mean, today definitely we are better because energy costs are very high, but we were better even a year ago. So we started, as I said, we started 2 years back and we were actively in the market. Within 6 months, we started going to the customers, and we were competitive right then. So today we are actually much, much, much competitive than anybody else.
You're left with 2 minutes.
Can you go to the, okay, just let's stop it there. I think, okay, that's what a trend which actually to show you the cost of ownership. So if you are buying methanol, for example, that's the methanol price trend over the last maybe 20 years. And you can see that the cost will increase. So if we are today sitting at X cost of methanol, this is going to increase, definitely. Okay, I had to skip that slide because this is something very important. This slide is full of anecdotes. So there are certain myths actually. I mean, what is the barrier we are facing in the market? There are certain myths about the cost of hydrogen. Whenever we meet particularly customers from chemical industry background, they give us really ridiculous numbers as far as their hydrogen cost is concerned. 14 rupees, 15 rupees, 13 rupees, 20 rupees. I tell you, if that is the cost, you are good to sell your hydrogen to big refineries. They are even not producing at that cost. So there is something wrong with that number. And that's something which is going unnoticed. The second problem is long-term contracts. So nobody wants to commit to long-term contracts. Now that is understandable, but then I don't understand the logic when people go and invest in their own plants. If you're investing in your own plant, that is a long-term contract you're making with yourself. So how does it, sound that I don't want to get into a long-term contract? Insulation from changes in energy prices. Yeah, so this is one feedback, interesting feedback, which came in one of our meetings with our customer, where we were told that our prices are, back to back with our customers. I said, okay, that works even better for us. Why don't we go to your customer, who is very much focused on scope 3 emissions, and tell them this is a green hydrogen solution, which as per your calculation is maybe 50 paisa more expensive, but then this price is going to hold for next 20 years. And last but not the least, sustainability. Why me? This question is there. There is a background noise all the time coming in all our meetings. Why me? So, mind you, all your customers are watching you. Everybody has got a scope 3 emissions target. Governments are watching you. And there is a very, very robust green hydrogen program of Government of India. For some reason, this segment of users have fallen under the radar. They are going to come on radar because this segment of users don't need any incentive to implement green hydrogen from the word go. So with that, I rest my case. If you have any more questions about our company, about what we do, we have a full delegation of HygenCo representatives here. Do reach out to them. I'm also available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul, from bringing this most important and most talked about future fuel hydrogen. Since you mentioned about the chloralkali, I represent chloralkali. So you also mentioned about why it is so in chloralkali. 90% of it is internally used in chloralkali industry as a fuel in boiler or as a fuel for concentrating their liquid products. The real use of hydrogen could be, utilization in other products. And one more aspect is while hydrogen is being clean fuel, as it is coming from the coal-based power plants or grid-based power plants, from chloralkali still not green, but your competitor would be chloralkali, very fast. Chloralkali industry is moving towards mix of both green hydrogen, when I say hydrogen produced from the solar power or wind power, and a mix of coal, and that will happen. That's a good news. Thank you very much for an enlightening presentation. Sir, can we have the Q&A? 5 minutes. What is the?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, please. Yes, sir.
I can shout my question out.
Yeah. You're always audible, sir.
So this has to do with your almost too good to be true kind of presentation. You talk relative. Can we talk absolute numbers in terms of what this green hydrogen in India costs today? I mean, we have some idea of what SMR or methanol reforming would. Can we get some sense?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
So I can actually give you a live case study, which can give you good idea about what I'm talking about. So the Jindal project that we have signed, we have won that project against ammonia cracker. That is one of the lowest cost ways to produce hydrogen in the steel industry. And we have been competitive against that. In absolute number, we are talking about hydrogen costs of anywhere between 32 to 40 rupees per cubic meter, depending on the capacity. When I say capacity, this can be up to 1,000 cubic meters an hour.
Hello. I'm Renald from Jupiter Laminators. Question to Chemours. India has, I think, maybe about global titanium dioxide reserves. Is there any plan to put up a unit in India? Because I do know, I mean, we all know that your titanium dioxide process is more environmentally friendly. And I have a second question regarding fluorocarbons. I think in India legislation is still forthcoming. So in terms of PFAS, are there any guidelines that you all follow for products in India?
Thank you. Thanks for the question, first of all. I think for TiO2 production, we are evaluating multiple times about setting up the plants in India. At the same point of time, we also need to understand the economic of scales and some other things. So I would not able to give any kind of a timeline. But what we are always looking from a TiO2 perspective, which makes more sense. And as you rightly mentioned, India is a good reserve as well as a strong growth in next 10 years or so when it comes to a coating or laminates or other applications. It's really on a radar, but I would not really able to spell out the timeline for that. On a second questions, I think it is more about hydrocarbons, right? About HFCs and all that. Is that correct understanding? Okay, PFAS. So PFAS is basically, I would say this is what currently is being discussed globally and particularly Europe is at forefront of it. There are some 5 countries, as many of you would know, already coming out with some kind of details, and we are monitoring and at the same time actively participating and providing data for that. What our understanding is for the PFAS, it would take anywhere from 6 months to, they would present their first things in next 2-3 months, and then they would give a time of 6 months for the industry to deliberate and discuss, and then they would come out with the details. So what we are currently seeing is it would be somewhere in 2025, you can see what exactly they are coming out, along with the first draft, which would be out in next 2 months or so. So that's what we know about PFAS.
Thank you very much. In the interest of the time, the QA is over. Good reasons must of force give place to better. We have made a great beginning, but it has to catch up with the pace. Thank you, ICC. Thank you, my management. Thank you, all the industries. We have all made a big beginning. Let us carry on, move on, and make our planet more and more sustainable. Thank you very much.
As a token of our gratitude, request the chairman to kindly hand over a little sustainability pack. And Dr. Rakesh Kumar will present it to the chairperson. So thank you very much. I think this session has raised many issues that need to be discussed much, much longer.